It's quiet, but yeah, audible, says Ben Webb. Cheers, Ben Webb. Always appreciate support.
Ben Webb is always a fucking audio technician. Is there anything that man can't do?
If anyone was wondering, this is a 2018 Felipe F14 carbon Aliante rig, but I think it's cut for 90 kilos. As you can see, that is very shallow. And we're rolling. So as you can tell from the title of this video, this is the origin story. It started back in about 2009. My mum was doing coastal rowing in this club called Ferry Carrick Rowing Club back in Wexford, and it was a strange sport. You would turn up to train and you'd spend about 2 hours waiting to get your turn in the boat, and you'd row about 400 meters max, and that's the training done. And the boat's big, heavy wooden tubs. It's like a tub that you'd use for training novices now in river rowing. And they were hard to lift. It'd take like 13, 14 people to lift a boat. But I started doing that. There are 4-seat boats, so like they're 4s, 4 pluses. But in the senior, you could do a pair, which was 2 men in the middle of a 4. And a cox, is of course coxed. So I did that for about 6 years. And mind you, not a lot was being done. It was just row 400 meters every Friday or so, and then race. I don't even know how far, I can't even remember. About 200 meters, 400 meters, something like that, something ridiculously short. And this is actually where my good friend Luke Harrington and his brother Donal and their compatriot Eamon came to New Ross as well from river rowing back in the day, or from coastal rowing, sorry. And this is where the journey starts really. 2015, after 6 years of coastal rowing, I learned to row camp in New Ross Boat Club, because rowing is rowing according to my dad, and he seen me getting a bit chonk. I put up a photo. Big boy, doing a bit of coastal rowing. Decided to do river rowing. And the only person who I knew there would have been Luke Sutton from playing rugby together, and Laura Brown, good friend Laura Brown. And that's how it hit off really. 2015 started. That was my junior 16 year. Raced junior 16 quad most of the year, bet a good few people, but always lost to commercial, which was annoying. And we actually got into the final of champs, junior 16 quad. We came 6th, which is tied for my best championship final race, which is massive achievement, junior 16 Cox quad final. But that year I raced novice quad with the lads I mentioned from coastal rowing, Luke, Donal and Eamon, and we won basically every race we entered, except we lost once to UCD A, I think, UCD A or B. But we were racing UCD all season, and we kept beating them, their B and C, or their C and A, whatever. We kept beating 2 out of their 3 boats every race. And we got to Cork Regatta, which was my first experience in a single scull for 2K. I was racing Jack Keating, funny story, because I talked about this for about a year after, how I was beating him after 500 meters, and then that race to me was a 500 meter sprint, 1500 meter paddle, and to Jack and obviously the other junior 16s who were there, or it was Division 1, or Division 2, 1 to 2. That was a 2K race, so I felt great being ahead at 500 meters in the Yamasak tub single, and then things went south very fast. Anyway, that regatta, we won the novice quad race, and then we got a letter from the president of Rowan Ireland, because we were young, we didn't know who it was. I don't even know who it was to this day. And they said they changed the rule, so you can't be junior 16 and novice or something. That was what we were told. So we couldn't race novice quad at champs, which we probably would have won. And then that champs at final in the quad. So that was year 1 done. And mediocre experiences all around. What's new? Year 2, things changed. So this is 2016. And first year junior. And so I committed to train hard, train properly alongside Luke Sutton. And we were going to be in a double together. So that was all well and good up until Christmas, when I got sick of training and I stepped back, or the coach dropped me, and then I didn't really train much up until the champs. Luke ended up going to the homes in the lightweight single, so I feel if I didn't take a step back from training, Luke wouldn't have went to the homes that year, but you never know. But Luke, you're welcome, really. That year, pitiful champs performances yet again. And then this is now 2017. 2017, what a year. Zero training, really. Maybe a few weekends here and there. Didn't really do much. Went to champs race junior single in champs 2018. Lost, of course, my heat. Then this is where I seen Luke go to homes again, and I was like, I used to be so much faster than him in a single, and now he's gone to the homes twice. This time as junior, first time lightweight, and I have nothing to show for myself because I haven't even raced well. So that started eating at me, that he was so much better than me, even though I was about 20 kilos heavier than him. And I decided I was going to commit again properly. But of course this is 6th year and I didn't care. So I convinced my dad to buy me a boat. It was a 2014 Felipe F22 aluminium reverse rig off Jack Heating, which is funny because that's where racing them. And I decided I was going to train. So me and Shona Tierney paired up, training partners, training hard. Went to the first trial, came 16th, 4th in the B or C final, which is pitiful. And I was trialing as a fake junior, as in I was turning 18 in the last 3 months of the year, which qualifies me as junior for racing in Scotland and England and Wales. So for that season, the goal was to go to homes as a junior, as a fake junior. If you don't know, the homes is a race between Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales, and it goes from each country year to year. So that year 2019 is going to be in Strathclyde. So the goal for the season was to train and race at the homes. So first trial goes by, terrible. Keep going, keep training, keep having to do erg tests. And then it was Mucker's Head in December. It was the 1st of December 2018. I remember we were racing. It was the first time me and Luke had raced in singles in a year and a half, I'd say. And it was 3K, rate 24, nice and low. Luke came in, he was like, oh, I was doing like 26, 28. So I was just scared. I was scared that he'd beat me, because that's why the only reason I started training was because he was better than me. And I wanted to go to homes, prove that I could. And the results came in, and I bet Luke by 9 seconds over 3K. And I was overjoyed. I was jumping around for joy, and Luke was Luke. He didn't really care because he was studying a lot and I was training a lot. But and that day I bet Jake McCarthy as well, and then me and Luke won the club double as well. But also beating Jake and Finton, we were proud of that, even though we didn't know really who they were at the time. And then indoors comes around, so that was December. Indoors January. Crazy indoors. I had a throat infection basically from October to March, but coming indoors, it was really bad. So I was obviously trying to train through it and wasn't working. So we get to indoors, under 23 has to be done for trialing, and it was something. I remember going off hard. First 250, I remember you could see your place and the top 3, let's say, or like top 2 yourself or whatever. Can't remember. I was number 1, 250 in, and I just remembered that junior 16 single race at Cork Regatta, and I was like, I need to slow down because I cannot hold a 122 split forever. So race went really well. Coach Janet Walsh at the time, best coach in the world, has to be said, sitting behind me talking to me, because it was like a personal coach. We didn't have a big group in New Ross, so she was talking to me, and she knew that I was thinking of stopping after about a kilometer. She knew I wanted to stop because I hate erg tests. Already that year before indoors, I'd stopped during 2 30-minute tests. So finished the race, and I got 6:25.3, which is my current PB, because I haven't trained really since, or like to beat it. And I was happy. I was ninth in the under 23s. I was like 5th or 4th overall for juniors, because I was obviously who I'm racing for the homes. And went home from the indoors, went out drinking with my friends, had to go on antibiotics then for my throat infection, which was after getting extremely bad. Couldn't swallow. So that was a big setback. 2 weeks off training, and then obviously the rest is history. Trained from then till the leaving cert. Got my boat that I have now then, because I'd gone from 85 to 94 kilos over the year, and I was obviously sinking in F22. So it was a week before Cork Regatta was meant to be on, and I got a brand new boat a week before the biggest race. It was meant to be the Holmes qualifying race, and got a brand new boat. I was trying to get used to it during the week because it was obviously sunny, so we could train after school. And it was an experience, because changing the setup between sessions, before and after every session, just trying to get it pinpoint perfect. And then Cork Regatta is cancelled, and then a bit of confusion then what's going to go on with the homes, because that's when the homes qualification is normally on. If you don't know, Cork Regatta, you declare, you time trial, and it's ranked. So that was eventful. No Cork Regatta, or uneventful more so. Champs comes along. My one goal for this season was to go to homes. So this is the quintessential moment for the season. Obviously I had other goals, like get into a champs final and get a faster 2K, which I did. And another one was to get into the weight class of my single, which was so improbable at the start. And then technically with the new boat I was in the weight class, so kind of half achieved that one. So champs comes along, and what a weekend. So I was trained harder, I was fitter than I've ever been. Like I said in the previous video, fitter, faster, I trained harder. I was as well prepared for a race as any. So Friday morning, junior school for homes time trial. I wasn't very happy, because in my heat, or my time trial so to speak, it was me, Peter Leonard, and 4 lads I never heard of. Like, you wouldn't know who they were. And then the time trial after me was Colin and Ronan Brennan, who you probably know, who won the time trial. They were in 1 and 2. So I'd obviously wanted to be in the fast one, but I went at it anyway. Flogged myself down the course. Peter's sticking with me for like the first kilometer, and I was surprised, but he was very fast. It was a big race for both of us, biggest race of the year, and then I crossed the line, almost cried. I was so tired, and I ended up coming 5th overall, and then 3rd or 4th for the Holmes time trial because Mikey Campion wasn't going didn't want to go to Holmes, so I obviously went up a place. And I think Thomas Kelly was ahead of me, but he was going to the coupe, so obviously went up again. I was overjoyed because then we presumed I was going to the Holmes, but it wasn't announced till like a week later. So that was the season goal obliterated out of the water. Not only in top 7, it was like top 3 or top 4. So I was well in there. I was praying to be single scull because I obviously had the green boat. So it obviously made sense to me. Me being fast in the single, me going in the single. Didn't work out that way. But the rest of the champs, Saturday morning, inter-scull. What a, probably scariest race of my life, inter-scull heat. Well, it was a semi-final technically. Started off the race dead last. Worst start ever. Get to 250. Cheeky look. 6th place. Get to 500. Look, pass out one lad from Greg. Great amount. Get to, that's 500 meter. 5th place. Get to 1k. Get to 1k. I'm now in 4th place. Passed out someone. I can't even remember who they are. So I'm in 4th place, and ahead of me are Finton, Skinny Bum from Carrick, Luke Sutton, Luke Hazenalley. Obviously, great pool of talent there. And I looked back and I was like, fuck, I need to do something big to get through this. And I was dead from the day before, but maybe failed to prepare to fail. I've sprinted a good 700 meters and I ended up coming in 2nd place on the line, and it's top 2 to qualify. And as one of my favorite videos on my Instagram it's the song La La La, and then before the video comes on, Laura Brown screams "Go on Ben, go," and it's me just sprinting, and then I finally on the line, 2nd place. So now I'm into the champs final, which is another goal, and then I had to wait 4 hours or 6 hours, something like that, a long time, to race. Go out. Janet, my coach, tells me to go off hard because I didn't go off hard enough in the inter heat, is what she thought, but I just had a shit start. And so racing Keelan Mannix and Matt Dundon, 3 of Finton from the semi, and 2 other guys who were fast. So I sprint out the gate. Sprint full pace, 120 split, I think was on speed code. Get to 500 meters and I'm still sprinting, and I look to my right, Keelan Mannix. I'm ahead of him, and then I'm like, oh shit, and then flashback racing Jack Eaton and sprinting first 500 meters. So from that moment on, 1500 meters, trying to keep up with some of the top guys from under 23. Keelan Mannix, unbelievable sculler, Matt as well. Flogged down the course anyway, praying that I'd flip or like I'd break my shoe or something so I could stop racing because I was dying. One of the men from our club, Derek, was driving the launch with the commentator on it. So I was looking at him and I was like, please don't look at me, because I was losing. I was losing mentally and physically. Crossed the line, flopped down. Season's over. Timidly row back to the shore because I was after losing the final, which I thought I'd do well in, but lost. Keelan Mannix won. Fair play to him. Amazing sculler. And then Sunday, me and Luke had a double for that season that we went out in maximum 10 times. We were keeping it a secret, but little did we know that if we didn't give it the attention it needed, we would not do well. Go out, intermediate double, come fifth or fourth anyway. It was top two. Bet by the only people I remember in that race were Sam O'Neill and Luke Hayes and Ali from Shandon. They came third, and Sam asked us, is it top three to get through? And we're like, nah, lad, top two. Excuse me. And that's fondest memory from champs, winning or losing the race badly. It's just a heat. And then saying to Luke, well, at least we get to finish early, because the final was meant to be at 7 p.m. Then obviously champs night, go home following Wednesday. Home's team is announced. Me, junior men's squad, go up to Island Bridge to train with Collie Butler, amazing coach. Go up, double with Aaron Keogh. Probably one of the best rowers I've ever rowed with in my life. Double was the fastest boat I've ever been in. I've been in single, double, eights, quads, fours, you name it, octuples. This double was the fastest boat I've ever been in my life, and we came third at the homes. And I'll go into that in more detail about the homes tomorrow, but that was my goal for the season. Get to the homes, and I did. I obviously wanted to win, but didn't work out well. Came third, a solid third. It wasn't close. We came third, and then Wales about a minute later after us, but sure, what can you do? Got there in the end, crossed the line, and it was a nice experience. It was a good season. Obviously ended on a high note, and then it took like a week off training. Then I obviously wanted to be back into training, because that's all I had known for the past year. Pre-season training, bit of erg with like Luke and Lily and Nora, a few people. Bit of erg, bit of circuits. Proudly showing off my new green one piece. Then moved to Cork for college, and this is when I transitioned to Shandon. So I went from being number one back in New Ross, being the top dog, coach's favourite, have to admit, sorry Shona, Luke, Laura, I was Janet's favourite athlete, and I will admit that, and I love more than attention, so I was obviously getting the spotlight in New Ross from the coaching perspective. And then moved to Shandon, and there's like 16 senior men in the group, and I wasn't getting 116 to the attention, and I was not showing off what I had done up to that point. It was just pre-season, bit of sculling, and then start of September, fell off my bike at a stoplight, red light, hit my wrist off the ground, damaged ligaments, no training for 6 weeks. Get back into training, burn out. Get back into training, burn out. Get sick. Get back into training, do a 2K, get really sick. Christmas comes by, train in January for a week straight, easing back into training. Go on holidays to Liverpool. Come back from holidays. I had €10 to last me a month, so obviously I had to get a job. And these are not excuses, this is just what happened. Got a job in a nightclub, working 10 o'clock to about 4 a.m. Hard to do with college. College at 9 a.m, finish work 4 a.m, go home 5 a.m. That window doesn't really work. Go home from college, sleep, wake up 8 p.m. So obviously, at that moment in time, I could not figure out a work, college, rowing regime, whatever. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't figure it out, and I didn't have the guidance there to try and help. Obviously my mum told me that was a shit job to get, and I was like, a job's a job. So yeah, then fast forward to lockdown. 2 weeks into lockdown, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go back to rowing. Borrow an erg off Greg Naman Rowing Club. Row for about 3 or 4 weeks. Move back to Cork. Run for a week because Shannon wasn't open yet. And now here we are at the end, Sunday, the end of week 2 of pre-season training. So this was the origin story, but here we are, caught up. Mostly caught up. And I am ready for what's to come. yeah, sure. Thanks for watching. It's probably a very long rant. Lost track of time, I'd say. Well, see you in the next one.